I told you all there would be a purge over the summer of this Norwich City squad as we look to get rid of a lot of the mediocre deadwood after the poor end to the season that we just had. Let me show you how it went. Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legend, episode 6, Club 3 here at Norwich City. My name is Craig and coming up in today's episode we are going to go through all the transfers in and out of Norwich over the whole summer, as the purge is mostly done but still kind of ongoing with maybe one or two players. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the transfer window, and then what will happen after we go through these transfers in today's episode. Wednesday's episode, we will go into the first two league games of the new season. But for now, let me show you how the purge has gone as we try to get rid of a lot of players from the previous squad last season and brought in their replacements. So first up, we are going to start with all the players who went out, and then afterwards all their new replacements. First one out the door, our original starting keeper, Freddie Woodman. And you'll notice he went to Chelsea, of all teams. Chelsea just came in, offered him out originally for like £8-9 million. And Chelsea just came in and said, yeah, we'll pay you the money up front, all 9 million of it. Easy deal. Easy deal to accept. Easy deal for him to accept as well. I doubt he's going to actually be starting games. I mean, yeah, I don't know if Chelsea have already played yet this season, but for £9 million, for a goalkeeper who's 30 years old and we could get a replacement in, spoiler, we did, and I think he's much better, it was easy money. So as far as I'm concerned, thank you for your service, Freddie, but the time came for you to go. Even though he is actually a Premier League goalkeeper, we could do much better than him, and we did. More on that soon. Next up out the door is Marco Olivares. So I did identify him as the youngest player in our squad when I originally took over, but when I did play him, he just wasn't convincing at all. He can't cross the ball, as you can see, 5 crossing, which is terrible. But also, I don't know if it was just a language barrier. Can he speak English? He can. He's good at speaking English, but maybe he just wasn't someone who was going to be in our squad long term. He's a League One standard player, struggling to be consistent. So hopefully he can find himself a new lease of life at Monterrey, back in Mexico. He's Chilean. Apologies. In Mexico, £9.5 million. He's already played a few games for them, not tearing up trees at the moment. But good luck to him, because it's a shame he was brought in, just left to rot in the reserves. Wish him luck in the rest of his career, and hopefully he'll get a new lease of life in Mexico. Maybe we'll see him down the line somewhere. Who knows? He's a Chilean international. He might make his way back to Europe someday. Next up out the door, Eddie Naketia, one of our main strikers, and he was our highest paid player last season on £78,000 a week. That's a chunk of money off the wage bill, and £29 million in our coffers as well, all up front as well. No instalments from Everton or anything, just a straight £29 million. A massive profit from when Norwich paid £12 million for him a few seasons ago. As far as I'm concerned, good business. Yes, he's still in the Premier League. I just don't think he was going to be a good fit for our squad. Yes, he can play advanced forward, which is what I like to play, but he's just too inconsistent, which is ironic because it says fairly consistent performer and enjoys big matches. No, I just wasn't convinced by him at all last season. I think we've got better strikers already at the club, and here's hoping that I'm proved right this coming season. Good luck to him, but it was time to move him on. Next out the door, Cameron Carter-Vickers. I originally wasn't actually going to get rid of him, but then I decided to offer him out, see what we could get for him, and he ended up going to... Oh, he went to Monterrey as well. I just realised he's joined Olivares at the same club in Mexico. We got £17.75 million for him. Again, another profit for a ageing player. In fact, how old is he? Is he ageing? Okay, he's 29 years old. He's not that old. He's already played a few games in Mexico. Hopefully he'll enjoy his new life there. Just kind of interesting. He's played in England and Scotland his whole career. He's gone to Mexico, although he's American, isn't he? Alright, so he's just gone back to North Central America. So he's closer to home. Good luck to him there. Yes, he still looks good as a player, but whenever he played at centre-back, he just did not look comfortable. He looked like he was always going to struggle against the top players in this division. Ben Davies, we already knew he was going to be going. He had agreed a transfer to Benfica like back in January. It's a shame to lose some experience at left back, but at the end of the day, it's probably for the best so we can try and get some younger players through. 34-year-old as well. I don't think we were really going to get that much for him, although if Benfica get a fee for him later on, well, good luck. Good luck to them. It's a massive loss actually, 8.25 million, but that was paid before I arrived at the club. But he did serve us well in avoiding relegation, so a shame to lose him, but at the same time an opportunity to try and get some younger players in, and hopefully that has been the case with some of the players that we have actually brought in. Another one out the door, Bruno Acosta, who you probably won't remember that much. That's because he barely played for me. I don't think he played for me on camera, certainly. 30-year-old Portuguese, former under-21 international, so he wasn't even a proper Portuguese international. Kind of says he was not quite of the quality that we required. He's gone to Cagliari. I don't know how you actually pronounce that team. Cagliari, I think I've heard people pronounce it. He's gone to Italy, £8 million. It's a loss on the 14.25 they paid previously. But again, he barely played for us. Made 14 starts last season, a far cry from the 35 the season before. Just not convincing as a player. He's a Sky Bet Championship player. As far as I'm concerned, he needs to move on for pastures new. He's also one of the few 30-odd-year-old players who we've managed to boot out of the squad. I think £8 million represents a half-decent deal for someone who barely played for me. Ivan Toney, again, another player who barely played for me, another 30-odd-year-old player, out the door. He went for a very cut price deal. There we go, if I can speak properly. We paid 4.2 million for him last summer, or rather the previous manager did, and we've only got 1.6 million for him. That's because he barely scored and he barely played. 5 starts in the league the whole of last season. He's a big target man, big pressing forward, but I don't play with either of those in the Premier League, so he's kind of surplus to requirements in my squad as it stands. So good luck to him. He's gone to Turkey, maybe for one final payday before retirement, who knows. Good luck to him. Dodi Lukabakio is also out, the 29-year-old Belgian international. Even if it is one cap, he's still a Belgian international. He's gone to Rostov in Russia, are they? Yeah, in Russia, £2.8 million. Another loss, but not by much, to be fair, and that was, again, before I arrived at the club. Yeah, as much as we're going back to using wingers, you'll see from the tactic in a short while, we are going back to using wingers, but I just don't think he's going to be really adding much quality. Maybe as a backup, but there's 0 point keeping him as a backup when I think he was like a regular starter. He wasn't going to accept a squad role. So it was better just to move him on, save the wages, get a little bit of money for him, and invest that elsewhere. Now, this guy you probably won't know because he didn't play for me at all last season. Samuel Fisher, he was actually, I think, out on loan, and then... Was he out on loan? Yeah, he was. He was on loan at Barnsley, and then we brought him back in January as a bit of squad depth. Went into the youth squads, and then somehow we managed to sell him to Brentford for £7.5 million. He does have Premier League potential as a left back as well. A part of me was like, should we sell him? Should we not? I ended up cashing in because I thought £7.5 million. Okay, he's apparently worth more. But I just think it represents good business overall. We've given him some experience, put him in the shop window, and Brentford were happy to just pay £7.5 million up front. I just don't think Samuel Fisher is going to be getting into the squad over the next couple of years, which is just going to hurt his development. May as well just let him go and make a name of himself elsewhere. He's still League One, so definitely he wouldn't actually be playing in this squad, except maybe the cup games, but that's not enough for a 21-year-old. So wish Samuel Fisher luck in the rest of his career. He was someone who never played for me, but I managed to get a nice little payday out of him. Another one out the door, it just keeps on going. We got rid of a lot of players. Daniel James, the 29-year-old Welsh international. He could play on the wings. Actually, saying that. Now that I've had a look at him again, I've just realised maybe we should have kept him. It's too late now. We sold him for £1 million. Yes, that value range up to 5.8 million, but no one was willing to pay more than like 1 million for him. So Ajax got him. He's made a couple of appearances already, not exactly tearing up trees in the Eredivisie. He's just been out on loan at Blackburn pretty much the whole time. I mean, he played for Norwich a few times in the Premier League. Don't think he's really going to be someone who would actually be starting for us. Maybe as a backup, but that's about as good as it's going to get for him. But at 29 years old, it was better just to get some money for him, get him off the wage bill. Would he be adding quality? Maybe in physicals, but in terms of technical and mental attributes, he's not the strongest. I think we got stronger in the squad. Now we just have to make sure that I'm proved right in this current season. Timothy Way, another winger who has gone. He just wasn't going to get to be a starter in this squad. 27-year-old American international. He has gone to Shakhtar Donetsk in the Ukrainian Premier League for £6.5 million. A bit cut price considering that Norwich paid £13.5 million for him, and that was back in the Championship actually. That's quite a lot of money for Norwich to spend in the Championship. But he's been on loan at Crystal Palace the last 6 months. Did decently there. 2 goals, 3 assists in, 13 appearances in the league. Yeah, he did alright, but I don't think he's not going to be a starter in this squad. Yeah, he can play up front and he can play on either wing. I say that, he'd only be a winger on the right hand side. I doubt I'm going to be using a winger there. Now watch me use a winger on the right hand side eventually. But I just think it's better to get a younger player in and just cash in on Way while he actually wanted to leave. In fact, that's a good point. He wanted to leave the club to get some playing time. Fair enough. Go and do that. Go and reignite your career and give some other players a chance in this squad. Honourable mention goes to Flynn Clark as well. We got some money for him, £575,000 for the 24-year-old Scottish attacking midfielder. Yeah, he never really played for Norwich too much. He played maybe 5 games in the Premier League overall before loan spells at Coventry and Swansea. I just mentioned him because, yeah, £575,000 for him. Half decent, but he wasn't going to play for us. He's a League One standard player. And that, apart from some loans that we've also sent out, that pretty much concludes, for now, the purge of Norwich City. A lot of mediocre players who have left the club, except maybe Daniel James. He might be one that I'm thinking probably should have kept him. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the players that we managed to move out. Now the question is, who did we replace them with? First up into the club is a Irish international, the 23-year-old Tayo Adaramola. Let's have a look. 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. I did all these transfers over the weekend, so I'm actually having to remind myself of a few of them. Adaramola was the first one we got in back in June. He is the international teammate of Amobamidel, so hopefully those two will get on quite well. They'll play well together. And also having 2 Irish players in defence. Not quite homegrown, but certainly very close to home for me. How much should we actually bring him in for? £11 million may seem a bit steep, but where did he actually come from? Was it Crystal Palace? Yeah, it was Crystal Palace that he came from. He has played in the Premier League before. In fact, he played a whole season, a full season, pretty much a regular starter for Palace in the Premier League before. Alarmingly, I think that was their relegation season, but we're not going to dwell on that too much. It says he's a Championship player with potential to be Premier League, but he relishes the big matches and he's a fairly consistent performer. That kind of swung it for me. It's not often you get both of those as player traits. So hopefully Adaramola will be very useful as a left back. Even if he's not a starter, he'll definitely be a very useful backup. But for now, he's going to be the starter that we'll have at left back. Also, it helps that he can actually cross the ball in as well. So if we do play with that wing back on support, yeah, he's very good at crossing and dribbling. He can also run with the ball down the left and get forward whenever possible. I think there's more upsides to Adaramola than I'm giving him credit for. I mentioned we had a goalkeeper in to replace Freddie Woodman, and this is the man, Valery Nafor, 26-year-old Cameroonian international, and we brought him in for quite a hefty fee for Norwich City. It was actually the record fee that they had paid. £33 million. That's quite a lot for a player who only has one season, one full regular starter season, or important player season, for Club Bruges in Belgium. I don't know why he has such a short history. I can only assume it's because I loaded up the Belgian leagues about 2 seasons prior. Or maybe he was a late bloomer coming from Cameroon, so who knows? Who actually knows? I prefer to assume that he's just a late bloomer, and now he is an absolute unit. Look at this man. Physically very good. He's very commanding of his own area. And technical-wise, he's going to be very, very good. I'm looking at his kicking and his throwing is actually his throwing's not that impressive, but his kicking certainly. Hopefully, his distribution of the ball will be much better. Very good command of the area, communication. So hopefully he'll be able to command his defenders, unlike poor Woodman. It does mean poor Suarez is going to still be the backup, but he's still got potential, so he's absolutely fine. I think he'll be fine as a cup goalkeeper. The only worry I have about Navarro is he only demanded being a star player, which means he needs to play every single match. I do want to give Suarez some matches, mainly in the cups, but I'd want to give him matches, so hopefully he won't get too mad about that. We'll see. He's already a natural leader as well. He's already like a highly influential player in the squad. He's only been here 2 months. This man right here, I'm very proud of getting in. Manuel Navarro, 19-year-old Argentinian international, and our first wonder kid of the entire series. We had actually arranged for this transfer like back in April. We arranged it in early April, and around about a week or two after we confirmed the transfer, the Next Gen 50 wonder kid list came out. Manuel Navarro was number 1 on that list. We've got the number 1 wonder kid. Don't know why I got 2 fingers up. We've got the number 1 wonder kid in the entire series. That is absolutely amazing. I'm surprised he came to Norwich. Very happy he came to Norwich. But we got him for a cut price £4.9 million. That's like a tenth of his overall value. And it also helps as well. His minimum fee release clause, though, is £45 million, which is going to seem quite low for clubs in the Champions League. So he's hoping that we can just keep him away from their clutches. I'm looking at you, PSG. But we've got him tied down for 5 years, so hopefully that will help, certainly in his development, but also keep him here for the long term. At 19 years old as well, if we keep him here for at least 5 years, he's going into the prime of his career. But we finally got ourselves a deep line playmaker. He can also play attacking midfield. He's actually our best attacking midfielder. He's more than capable of both roles. The passing, the technique, the vision, the balance, the first touch, all amazing attributes to have for a playmaker. I've got high hopes for this man this season and future seasons. The man they call Wallace is in next, a 20-year-old Brazilian under-23 international, 2-star accountability, 4.5-star potential. He's coming from Cruzeiro for £11 million. And he's someone who, when he was scouted, he seemed more impressive, but then when he came in, it's like, okay, he's still got a lot of development still to do. But 4.5-star potential ability. I'm not too worried at the moment. He's just turned 20, literally. We'll give him the development time that he needs. Game time as well, especially. But overall, he's a very brave player. He's already... Oh, he's not already Premier League standard. He's not. He's Sky Bet Championship, but he'll hit that Premier League standard, I think, fairly quickly. A fairly professional player as well, and pretty good with both feet. But he's going to be our backup right back. We've got about 4 players who can play at right back. So he's got a lot of competition, but the aim for me is to give him as much game time as possible. Right now, I'd probably say that's going to be in the cups or as a bench player in the league. Ulysses Cantu. I love that name, Ulysses. How often do you see the Ulysses anywhere, let alone in Football Manager? 19-year-old Mexican under-23 international, 3-star accountability, 5-star potential. He's going to be competing for a starting spot with our other new right winger that we've also brought in. More on that in a bit. But look at his value, 66 to 98 million. Take that with a pinch of salt, but that says the potential that this man has. And we brought him in for 7.5 million. Mexico is usually quite expensive, so for us to get him at that price is pretty much a cut price deal. But he is already Premier League standards. He can play as a winger, mostly a winger on the right hand side, but he can be an inverted winger if needed. For how's his feet? He's good with both feet, so he'll be fine. But overall, he can cross the ball, good at dribbling, very pacey, very fast. His technique is excellent. Would like his work rate to be a bit higher, but his teamwork is pretty decent, and he's got the flair. I noticed with wingers, if you've got a winger with high flair, you're onto a winner. And he's only 19 years old. That's only going to get better. His mentals will only get better over time. Serious potential with Ulysses Cantu. I just love that name, Ulysses. We have another striker within our ranks, someone to replace Naketia, and hopefully someone of higher quality. Luca Reichel, a 23-year-old Austrian international, 3.5-star accountability, 4-star potential. He comes in as advanced forward. He can also play complete forward if necessary. We brought him in for £15.5 million from FC Liefering, who I think is a feeder club to Red Bull Salzburg. So he has played for Salzburg in the Austrian Premier League. I've also had a look as well. He has played Champions League football as well. So we've got ourselves a player who has been in the Champions League. But how did he do continental competition? You can't see it behind my head. He didn't score or anything, but he's got that experience for someone who's clearly played at a high level. He's already Premier League standard. Really good in the air. That should come as no surprise. The man is 6'4". He's going to challenge Mark Scully for being a very, very tall player. I've also just reminded myself of the Holy Trinity. That he's got dribbling, finishing and first touch. 16 each. Yeah, this man is an advanced forward if ever I've seen one. He's very, very fast as well. Good anticipation, good technique, very good work rate as well. Off the ball he's decent. And he's got the composure as well. I have big hopes for Luca Reichel this season and in future seasons. Him being an Austrian international as well. He's not playing for a terrible international team either. A nice little flashback to FM21 with this signing. Matteo Lavato, 27-year-old Italian, former under-21 international, 3.5-star accountability, 4-star potential. We bought him in from relegated Leeds for £19.25 million. That's kind of a cut price, considering I think if Leeds had survived last season, they'd certainly be looking for what, maybe 20, 30, 35 million pounds for this player. He made a profit on him regardless, but because they went down, he obviously went to play Premier League football. And he's a Premier League standard defender, someone to replace Cameron Carter-Vickers. So now we have three quality centre-backs in Amobamidel, Quaresma and Lovato. Quaresma and Lovato I've had at Norwich in FM21, so it's almost like a reuniting of the old defence that we used to have. Just in this case, Amobamidel is the new Mavropanos, just a younger version. Spirited individual, really good in the air, impressive jumping reach. Again, that should be the case. 6'2", he's got the jumping reach, so he's going to be a threat from corners. You notice I'm getting a lot of big men into this squad, which will be useful from free kicks and corners going forward. Very happy with this purchase. Ball playing defender and a central defender when necessary. Now this one is a good signing, but I'm just a little bit wary of how well this is going to go. Harvey Elliot, a 24-year-old English former under-21 international, not full international, 3-star accountability, 3.5-star potential. He can play anywhere in that midfield or on the wings. He looks a very good player, bar long shots, but I'm not too bothered about that. Brought him in from Liverpool. From Leicester. 33.5 million. See, I'm reminding myself of this transfer and I'm just thinking, yes, I would have brought him in, but for that much. And I did remind myself that it's not all £33.5 million up front. It's about 21.5. The rest of it all on instalments. He is Premier League standard. He has played at some big clubs. He's not Premier League standard. Oh my God, that was the case when he came in. You'll see him this season. He's going to get game time. He will for that amount of money. But he's played at Leicester. He's played at Roma. He's played for Liverpool. A little bit. Oh my goodness. This can only go one of two ways. And I hope it goes the way of he is actually good quality. Attributes-wise, he doesn't look too bad. I'm just hoping I was right in this transfer. This is the big question mark of the summer. Is he going to be good? To be fair, the reason I brought him in as well, another reason I did, was for registration purposes. He's English, and I guess you could say the £33 million we paid for him was English tax on these players, which is even more stonking considering he's not even an international. He's a former under-21 international. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. He's got good flair for a winger. He'll be alright. He'll be good. German Sanabria. I did say he wasn't going to come back. And then the more I looked at him in sort of July time, he's good for being a left back and a centre back backup. He can play at left back as a starter if he wishes, but he needs to convince me this season. He's not as big of a question mark personally as Harvey Elliot. Unfortunately, he is banned still for the first 2 league games of the season, so we're not going to see him in the next episode. But he's on loan for the season. He's an Argentinian international. He can't be that bad, so I'm going to give him another opportunity. If he doesn't do it for me this time, it will be the last time you see him. But I needed someone who can come in and just provide competition at left back. He's fluent in English now anyway. He's not trained in England, so you can kind of see why I bought Harvey Elliot for registration purposes. Keane Lewis Potter, a backup. Just going to say that now. 2.5-star current ability. He's a 26-year-old English winger, left and right hand side. He'll provide backup when needed. And to be fair, for £2.1 million, that's fine. That's all I need him to be. In fact, what's the flair on him? His flair is 13. Decent. Maybe not Premier League decent, but decent. He'll be someone who will probably play in the Cups as well. He's a Championship player. He's got good composure, apparently. So I wonder if he'll get a good amount of goals, or some goals. In fact, is he a goal scorer? No, he's not. He hasn't scored in the Premier League for like 3 seasons. Final signing is Keanu Durant, a right back, centre back, and left back. He can play anywhere across that back four. He's going to be predominantly a right back, I think. On loan from Manchester United, a under 21 international, 21 years old, 5-star potential. He's a wing back. Probably a defensive wing back. He's more of a defensive wing back, if I'm honest, anyway. His crossing's not that great, but his marking, his tackling is decent. His dribbling's alright. His physicals are pretty decent as well for the Premier League. He's also not a short fullback, 6'2". There's a lot of fullbacks I saw this summer who were like 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". He's 6'2". He's like the tallest one I've come across. Off the ball, he's pretty awful, but teamwork, work rate, he's very good. He's even got some flair about him. Anticipation is good. I think he'll develop nicely for us. He's had previous loan spells at St Johnstone and Nottingham Forest in Scotland and low leagues of England, respectively. Yeah, I think he'll be alright. He's already Premier League standard. Man U have given us a chance to develop him. I think, have we got a optional fee on him as well? Yeah, £76 million. I doubt we're going to take that up. Not unless he bags like 20 assists and a few goals to boot this season. If he does that, I'll happily pay that £76 million, even if it is on instalments. But other than that, I think this is probably a one season and done, unless we get him back on loan next year. But we'll see how he performs. So overall, that is the transfers we've made so far. We are on the first day of the season here. That again will be the very next episode. But overall, I did calculate it up. We've spent overall, including instalments, roughly 160 million pounds overall this summer. And we've brought in about, I think, 93 million pounds. So just shy of 100 million. So overall, we've not exactly bankrupted Norwich. We've still got a little bit of money, 8.3 million in the transfer budget. I think we've still got about 38,000 on the wage budget. Projections, not looking great, but again, if we're in the Premier League money. And, well, we're secure. That's all I can ask for. We're somewhere between secure and rich. So, very much a very good position for Norwich to be in. And these transfers mean that we are predicted to finish 15th. I mean, it's still better than last season when the media predicted us to finish 17th, but it just says the level of competition in this league is utterly stupid. I mean, Erling Haaland at Liverpool, Mbappe at United, Camavinga at United, Pedri at Liverpool, even Vlahovic is at Newcastle, Ruben Diaz is at Man City. Well, he's still at Man City. He's there in real life. Yeah, the level of competition in this league is horrendous. We are going to have a heck of a time trying to get into that top 10 even, because it's just looking very, very strong. First games of the season coming up in the next episode. Home against Sheffield United and away against Aston Villa. Who, by the way, Aston Villa, first day of the season, they've already played. They kind of got pumped 6-0. Who did they get pumped by, actually? Was it... It was by Tottenham. Jeez. Well, we'll see how that goes in the very next episode. Sheffield United, Aston Villa, first 2 games. Let's see if this squad is good enough for top 10. Although the board are asking us just to avoid relegation this season. I want better than that. I do not want another relegation battle. Top 10 has to be our aim this season. If you have enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed all the transfers that we've made and the purge that has been ongoing the entire summer, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button so you don't miss the start to the season here at Norwich. He's hoping we make some good strides with this squad, especially those with some high potential. I thank you so much for watching. I thank you so much for the support on this series you've shown so far. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.